Why are you alive today? Why do we exist? How do we fulfill our purpose on a moment-to-moment basis? How we go about answering this question is a very important preface to answering the question. If I ask you, what do you think about XYZ? You will tell me what you think. You may be right, but you may be wrong. We are human beings, and we all make mistakes. If I place the digit 6 in front of me, and I look across the table to the individual sitting over there, and I ask him, what do you see? He will say, I see a 9. If we're not able to see the other person's perspective, we will argue whether it's a 6 or a 9. But the reality is that I am seeing a 6 and he's seeing a 9. We're both correct. However, sometimes you're supposed to be looking from one side. So someone can be seeing right, but they've got the wrong perspective. Take Hitler, Yamach Shemo. Millions of people accepted his viewpoint and advice, and these people were not stupid. Many intelligent people believed that the right thing to do based on their perspective was to accept Hitler's policies. If we were asked about Hitler's viewpoint, we would answer that it's appalling and evil, and we disagree with everything that he did and believed in. But many people, intelligent and informed, would disagree with us and have a different perspective. If we rely solely on our minds and our logic, we could end up making tragic mistakes. If we approach the question of our existence on the basis of our perspective, we could be right, but we also could be very wrong. Consider the war between Hamas and Israel and the fact that so many people around the world have sided with Hamas. To us, it's obvious that they are completely wrong, but based on their perspective, they see things differently. Let's give one more example to demonstrate this concept. Consider an individual who hears screaming coming down the corridor. He runs in that direction and comes to a door. It seems that the screaming is coming from this room, and from the intensity of the screeching, it sounds like someone is being murdered. Our individual tries to open the door, but it's locked. He then tries to break down the door without success. He looks through the keyhole and sees a hand wielding a very sharp knife, which is piercing the victim's body. Eventually, the door opens, and from the room emerges a surgeon. His victim had to have an emergency operation without time even for anesthesia. The patient, not victim, was about to die and needed immediate treatment. The surgeon did his best to save the patient's life. Now, the initial perspective of our protagonist when he looked through the keyhole was, oh my word, there's murder being committed here. But afterwards, he realized that quite the opposite was happening, and a complete turnaround occurred because initially he was not able to see the full picture. When we attempt to answer questions about our existence, we can't rely solely on our perspective, because although we might be well-meaning, we also might be completely wrong. So what then are we supposed to do? Let's explore this further together, and Bezrat Hashem will find the only unmistakable and true perspective that can exist.